Very good morning, my Rideshare friends, my YouTube subscribers. I hope your day is off to an awesome start. Today, we're going to cover a topic that I love teaching, that I love sharing. This is about sharing information to help your Uber and Lyft business, right? Because it should be looked upon as a business, and how to succeed in this field. Now, no judgment today. You know, there are people that might just want to do Uber and Lyft for a few hours per week, right? To just hop into a car, get a few little dollars in extra per week, and that's fine, right? The video is geared at drivers who are thinking of joining. It's geared at drivers who already have, 500 or 1,000 trips or more, and might look at avenues to improve their bottom line, how to up their money, how to up their game. And my formula, my friends, I've literally shared with thousands of people over the phone, via emails, via text. These are probably the most common points that I'm going to go over in quite a lot of detail, so it may turn out to be a very, very long video. And we're going to cover everything that I teach my group of drivers. I do lease out cars to drivers, and I put them through these points. It's more like a training program before they head out on the road. So before they take trip one on day one, they're prepared on all of these factors here above. So let's dive in right away. Very good morning to you guys. Who's in there? No to Cab, how are you? SJBR, how much does Lyft and Uber pay you? They pay me millions upon millions upon millions. No, joking. I make my own money. Okay. So some people think I work for these corporates. No, I've found all the best angles, multiple angles to monetize this business. And my numbers, we'll talk about them later. I'm not going to disclose how much I make, but I do well. And it's not just the only business I run. I have a natural cosmetic business. I ship natural cosmetics, minerals, supplements, detox products worldwide. Amazon is my biggest platform. And then I'm also involved in real estate transactions, buying and selling, renting out Airbnbs, etc. So this is not my own. This is not my main business. So to answer the gentleman's question, no, I don't work for corporate Uber or corporate Lyft. So let's dive in. Your car and your category, right? Look, you may have a car that's paid off, right? And it fits into one of these categories. Let's say it fits into UberX or Lyft Regular. Let's say it's a Honda Civic, for argument's sake, or a Toyota Prius. And they will slot you in probably into the busiest category. Now, your car's paid and it'll generate X per week. It's a very busy category. It's not the biggest money maker, right? When I look at a car and a category or multiple categories before I enter this business, I say to myself, which category in a specific city? Now, in certain cities like SUV, Lux, or XL are just, they're not there, right? They'll have different categories. But to me, an affordable car that may only be $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 more than the average UberX vehicle would be a car in the XL category, like a minivan, right? So there's many people say, well, I'm never going to drive a minivan. Listen, a minivan can have a ton of uses, especially if you're a family. But the main thing is with a minivan is that you're going to get more than 4 passengers in, right? And why do people order vehicles for more than 4 passengers? Because they're moving with a group, with a family, with business people, and usually most of the time, I would say about 70% of the time, there's luggage involved. And anytime there's luggage involved, I will guarantee you, if you're doing your A game, you're getting the tips, right? So if you can stretch, right, that budget that you have by about $1,500, and instead of looking at a Prius, you may be looking at a Toyota Sienna, right? Think about it. Go on to cargurus.com or any one of the websites, search particular vehicles, and look at the price difference. I'll tell you what, it's not much, especially if you're looking at a vehicle that is about 70, 80,000 miles and still can easily do another 150 to 200,000 miles, right? You don't necessarily have to go out there and buy a 2019 model. You could go out there and get a 2017 or a 2016 for a great price, and it's going to give you many, many years of driving. So it's not that you have to spend top dollars on a vehicle. It's about buying smart and working smart, and that's what I'm going to teach you guys here today. So let's dive right in. Uber girls in the house, love to see her. Miss Energy, Miss Smiles, great. Carly, your driver. I'm in Pittsburgh and I have an XL. I rarely get an XL. Okay, we'll address that, why you rarely get an XL. XL will always, the company will always put you on the combination of XXL. On the busiest times, Friday and Saturday night, you have to switch off the X feature. You should just be driving XL, right? But here's the good thing. Anytime somebody needs to travel with a group, they're forced to buy, to order that XL, because they will not fit their luggage, they will not fit their people into the X. So driving on the combination of XXL, which they slot you into, and Lyft XL as well, you're now driving on multiple platforms, you're driving multiple people, and it usually results in tips after trips, sorry. I will compare UberX tips to UberXL tips any day of the week. It's like day and night. Okay, so that's my tip there is, if you can stretch yourself a little bit to get an XL vehicle which qualifies for XXL, do it, right? Especially if you're in big cities like, you know, LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New Jersey, Miami. Those XLs will be busy all the time. Frank Tribble, can you tell me how to contest? Do you activation from Lyft? They deactivated. I'm sorry you got deactivated, but today we're talking about big things here, my friends, right? So I can always address your deactivation issue in an email, not here, unfortunately. The one thing I can say is be on both platforms, right? Make sure you signed up on both platforms, because if you're looking at your shift, you might be doing a 3-hour shift, a 5-hour shift, an 8-hour shift. And if you statistically look at the numbers, if you have both apps on, right? I promote the 2-phone Uber trip. You don't necessarily have to go 2 phones. It just makes life easier because you can switch off the one, switch on the other as you're driving. You don't have to toggle and create an accident, right? To be on both platforms, with both platforms running, if you're looking at a long shift, some of you guys do 5, 8-hour shifts, you just statistically get more trips in. Let's say you're doing 10 trips on the one platform, driving on both in the same duration, in the same 8 hours, you got yourself 13 trips. You got 3 more paying trips, just purely because you signed up that same vehicle, that same insurance, the same documents on an additional platform. So if you have not signed up with Lyft right now, if you have not signed up with Uber, do it right now. The links are right beneath my video and you get all of this training from me, right? And by the way, the people that have joined and forgot to add that code, I also show you underneath the video how to add your code retroactively so you get paid, okay? So it's important to be on both platforms. Purely just numbers, statistics, patterns show that per week you're getting more trips in on both those platforms. If one of these two goes wrong, you have something else to fall back on, a second option, right? For some reason, Uber may deactivate you, like this guy just got deactivated. Well, if he had Lyft going, he's right back on Lyft and he's sorting out his Uber problem, fixes his Uber problem, and he's back out with 2 platforms again. The next one, transportation charter permit. It has a different terminology in different states, right? Here in California, they'll call it the TCP, they call it TCN in certain markets. But what it is, my friends, it's a commitment from you, from the drivers, to spend probably about an $800 extra fee to get that license so that you can charter the public, you can move people around. More like my limo company, right? I have to have that TCP for each vehicle. Now, the difference between the TCP and the Uber and Lyft is you're putting 100% of those proceeds of those trips, and I can show you that on my phone a little later in this video. you're putting that money into your pocket, right? So for example, I did a trip yesterday. I think it was $100. It was an airport run. Had I have to share that with Uber or Lyft, right, I'll probably only be left with $60, right? Or maybe even less, 55. But in this case, I get to put the full $100 in my pocket. The night before, somebody booked me out for a few hours, $275, right? That full 100% goes in my pocket. Why? Because I took the time to, on top of Uber and Lyft, add my transportation charter permit. It's a must, folks. It's a must. So save up that money, put that money aside. The whole process with the DMV and the certification is going to run you about 2 months. The best guy out there is that I use and that a lot of other drivers use is Alex from businessrocket.net. Hit him up, tell him Rideshare Professor sent you, and just ask questions. Ask a ton of questions, and he will give you the answers. It doesn't mean that you have to commit to the TCP, the Transportation Charter Permit, yet. You can possibly get it down the line. But anyone operating an SUV, anyone operating an XL or a Lux vehicle, and I've even seen it with Priuses, people adding that to the mix, they can now start conducting their own marketing, their own social media marketing, their own YouTube videos, and start getting private drivers. Big, big money. When I look at my week, Monday to Monday, I want to get X amount of Uber trips, X amount of Lyft trips, and the bulk of my trips, I always want private trips because that's where I'm banking the most cash, right? Now, I can always jump back to that one if anybody has specific questions about that. You comment afterwards. I always read the comments. I'll answer that. So you can refer back to any of these points later and say, hey, you know what? I had a question about the events. I had a question about your 30-day calendar, and I will answer it, right? That's what I'm known for. That's why the people sign up under me, is because I give them the very best training, help, and support when you join up under my code. Now, tips after trips, right? We always want tips, right? If the waiter gives you A1 platinum service in the restaurant, he or she is going to expect a tip. It's the same in the rideshare business. If we're going out of our way, let's say we have mints on board, waters on board in specific categories where it is still worthwhile carrying that on board, and people are helping themselves to the condiments, we're carrying the luggage, we're doing all of these little extras for them, we're going beyond. We should be rewarded with a tip, right? Now, tips, all I can say is if you constantly bring your A game, right, I can tell the difference between somebody that wants to earn a tip and somebody that has absolutely zero desire to get tipped. I've seen it. I've taken enough Uber and Lyft trips every week, sometimes to meetings, sometimes to pick up cars. I can see who is fighting for their tip and who is not. It's very, very obvious, right? In the makeup of the car, the look, the smell, the attitude, everything. That's what defines your tip, right? So the more you bring your A game every day, in and out, every hour, right? And not every day can be perfect, right? We'll have some days that are a bit rough. There are some days where we're feeling under the weather, but there is no excuse in this game to bring your A game, your platinum service, right? And you project those numbers over 365 days. Let's say you gave 350 days of your best. The other 15 days were just off days. You can compare those tips to any regular driver who's just doing it for the driving purpose and doesn't care a damn who gets in his or her car, right? So tips are governed by nobody but yourself, right? Everything, the way you show up, the attitude, the way you make that car look, that determines your tips. Now, the one thing I always do, folks, I carry around several business cards, right? Firstly, I carry around my business cards, It has my cars on the back. It has my face. It has my details. It has my code. If somebody has a positive trip with me, and I try and sort of hit that 80% mark, you can't please everyone. Not everyone's a happy camper. Not everyone's in the best of moods. Not everyone is sober. But let's say we hit a 80% successful passenger pattern, whatever you want to call it, right? I want to get into conversations with these people. And if possible, I want them to ask for my business card, right? Hey, do you have a card? That's a simple question that many, many people ask, especially in SUV, Lyft, and Lux. Not so much, I don't think a college kid's going to reach out, hey, dude, do you have a business card? No, it's not going to happen that much. But in the other categories, that expense of $30 for maybe 500 or 1,000 business cards is worth it. As you guys have and as you may have seen from some of my other videos, import domestic, we'll read that comment later. Oscar Gonzalez, I have a question about TCP. Yes, hit me up with that question. I have a lot to cover today, guys. So I would love to answer all of those questions that are coming up here. This is a purely informational video, how to succeed in the Uber and Lyft business, right? It's a formula that I teach all drivers and it works, right? It's based on patterns. It's based on statistics. It's based on very basic and simple things that you can do every day to up your earnings, right? So again, if you're just doing this a few hours here or there and you don't really care, you just want to get the hours in and earn some money, okay, I respect that. That's fine. But the way I conduct my business is that I look at all the angles, all the avenues to monetize myself. I share that openly with you today. I look at the way I show up, and it works for me and it works for the drivers that I lease out cars to, right? They'll always come back to me and say, hey, how can I improve my game here? Okay, let's look at this. What are you doing here? Where are you driving? So there's certain things you can do that increase the bottom line. There's certain things that you can do to bump up your ratings. If Uber and Lyft reach out to you and say, hey, you know what? We got a complaint, one more strike and you're out, right? At that point, you got to hustle, my friends. You got to get those ratings back up, right? So back to the business cards, not to go too much off track. I attach them to magazines. Those magazines are at the back of the seats in the pouch where the driver sits in the back and they see the magazines. A lot of them reach in, grab the magazine and see my card attached and say, may I take your business card? Absolutely, you may take the business card and you may take the magazine. I have many of those magazines. Enjoy the article, enjoy my card, contact me if you need me. They have asked me for it. I haven't done a hard sale on them. So I can never get deactivated because I was trying to recruit individuals. No, I let them come to me. I call it a soft sell, okay? What do? I don't just carry my business cards around. I carry around the business cards with all the people that I affiliate myself, where I can say, I proudly hand over this business card, this recommendation, right, of this guy, Michael, for example, because he will do A, B, C for you. I proudly hand over that business card of Alex at Business Rocket because he will take care of the TCP's issues for you. This guy here, Michael, will source a car for you in Orange County, LA, San Diego at the right price at dealership auctions. He's done it for me many a times. So if I have a good business relation with someone, I vouch for them. So this means I get a lot of additional money, right? Because I expect a commission if I'm handing over a referral, right? If my clients that I refer spend $800 or $1,000, I want to see at least $100, $150 out of that transaction. And every week these numbers come in. Why? Because I'm not shy to hand out business cards. I hand out a lot of business cards per week, right? For me, it's business, and more business. Okay. So then we move on to the point of repeat business, my friends. Let's see, whatever. I'm trying to see if someone is asking any questions. No, there's a private conversation going on. That's cool. Uber Girl's having a lot of little chats with individuals. That's perfectly fine. But for the outsiders watching this video, I have a lot of territory to cover here. I want to teach you a lot of points how to succeed in this business, right? Now, repeat business. What do I mean by repeat business? There will be many people in my private clients, right, that I keep ongoing. Why did they contact me again at this number, right? Because they enjoyed my platinum service. They enjoyed my safe driving, my signaling when I'm changing lanes, keeping my distance, sticking to the speed, right? I'm telling you, people love consistency. They don't like the up and downs. I get into an Uber car the one day and the guy drives like a NASCAR driver. I get into an Uber driver the next day, the guy knows how to drive, right? So who do I rather want that next time around? I want to feel safe. Everyone wants to feel safe. And especially with yesterday's topic about passenger and driver safety, it's one of the biggest things at the moment, that people generally just want to feel safe. Safe with a person that they've already taken 2 or 3 trips with, and they'll take them again and again and again. Over a 5-year period, I've probably built out 75 clients. Why? Because I market myself into these neighborhoods, whether it's through flyers, whether it's through magazines, whether it's through business cards, right? I am not there to steal any Uber or Lyft passenger away. No, it's more like they come to me, right? And when I have a repeat client, I have clients sending me their itinerary, CEOs, right up to August, September. I have September bookings right now. You know, I don't think I have any October, November, December, but I have right up to September. I have tons of bookings because these people have schedules, they have plans, they do trips, and I can just slot that in. Okay, boom, I'm going to block out those 2 hours there. I'm going to block out that 1 hour there on that day because I know where they need to go. But there are numbers that I can rely on. There are shifts and trips that I can rely on, and they're money. They mean 100% in my pocket, right? But I'm telling you, the Uber and Lyft combination is just guaranteed trips per day, right? The private, the charter permit, just allows you to plan better, to start building bigger numbers. So that 3rd edition, my friends, is a must. Question, Torsten, what info should I put on my business cards? Paul Figueroa asked. Very good. So the information, you should put your best face, your best pic of you forward because they recognize you. Yes, I remember driving with her, with Uber Girl Paula, or I remember driving with Paul. Yes, that's the guy. He was cool. And then, very important, another visual, whether I have the Cadillac or the Suburban on the back, the car that you drove them in. Now, sometimes I switch cars, so I have different business cards, but I try to make my best effort is to give them the card with the car that I drove them in, so they can remember, aha, the face, yes, he drove me in that Suburban. I remember that guy. I remember her. She was great, right? So the visual back in front of the card is huge. The name, your email. Okay. As far as girls, they ask me, hey, should I put my number on it? I say a lady should not put a number on it, just the email, because guys will tend to harass some of the females, right? So what I do is I also have the codes, the Uber and the Lyft code, right? And I tell them I am available 24/7. Don't be shy to request me at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'll be there, but I'll charge you. I'll charge you a lot of money, right? And I'm not shy. The more extravagant some of my clients, hip hop artists, NBA players, actors, actresses, CEOs, the more extravagant the wishes, the higher I set my price. And it's a lot of fun, right? You know, you want all of that from me? Okay, you want security on board? You want to be picked up right next to the jet on the private landing strip? I will demand money, right? And never be shy. Always in life ask your value because you are valuable, right? So that is a lot about a repeat business there. I will gladly answer any questions in the video, my friends. If you shoot me questions, I will answer that. If you have questions specifically about repeat business and business cards. They sort of go hand in hand. I'll gladly answer that. My friends, know your hotels in your city. Why do I say that? Know your high-end hotels, know your medium-range hotels, know your budget hotels. Because depending on the category that you drive in, statistically, you will be getting specific trips from specific rated hotels, like 5-star hotels in Beverly Hills, the Montage, the Wilshire, the Bel Air Hotel is a specific type of clientele, right? If I move out into other areas, and again, no judgment, we all have a specific income. We don't judge people. Everyone can afford what they can afford. Maybe the one guy can afford a luxury Mercedes and the other guy orders a Honda Civic. It's perfectly fine. There is zero judgment in this game, right? We're here to improve our numbers and climb the ladder, right? To make more money, up the game. Now, when I say hotels, it could be that I just dropped someone off, right? In an area where I know down the road, let's say in Santa Monica, if I just switch off right now, I've dropped this guy off on 11th Street in Santa Monica, right? I drop them off there. And I say to myself, where would I, within minutes from my current location, get the very next best trip, right? And hotels should be your first thought. So I zipped down to Ocean Drive, 11 streets. It took me 2-3 minutes to get there. But what I have done, or what I have created, is possibly setting myself up for a nice run, right? Getting a tourist on board, getting somebody to the airport. There's specific trips, and I'm sure you will agree with me, that start from a hotel, and they usually end up at an airport, or they usually end up at some sightseeing spot, which is far away, that a tourist wants to go and visit, especially in the big cities, especially like in Orlando, Florida, especially in LA or San Francisco, where there's a lot of, or New York, where there's a lot of tourists coming in, right? So hotels, I love hotels, and I will gladly switch off that app on 11th Street in Santa Monica, drive 3 minutes, and position myself right there by Casa del Mar, Viceroy, and Shutters Hotel and Lowe's Hotel, right? 4 massive hotels within a 500 feet radius, right? Or 1,000 feet radius. I'm going to get another great trip. Had I left that app on 11th Street in Santa Monica, right there, and I just stayed there, I probably would have got an average trip, right? A guy maybe going to a restaurant or to a meeting. I am shooting for the money trips, my friends. I like the long trips. I like the paying trips. I like the trips where I can build a relationship, right, with somebody that travels in and out the city. I like the opportunity to build a relationship with a tourist, a visitor, and talk about my city as I'm driving around. Oh, by the way, that's famous for that. Or by the way, if you are here for a few days, do that. Because what am I doing here? I'm setting myself up as a tour guide for repeat business, right? And that leads me into the next topic, which is tourists, right? That tourists are gold. You know, I had a bunch of Swedes once, 7 people, and I picked them up at the hotel, and they were in town for LA. They were in LA for 2 weeks, and they wanted to see the surroundings, right? I managed to get a lot of money out of this group because they loved my suggestions. I even got a Vegas trip out of it, right? And partied with them in Vegas. I made friends with them. I'll visit them in Stockholm when I go over to Europe again. And guess what? That came from one trip, right? I got multiple trips out of that, right? And not only that, I formed a great friendship and relationship and maybe more, right? So tourists to me, always make them feel welcome. Yesterday, I'll give you an example. I could see the bunch of Europeans that came in very hot gear. They had jackets on, everything. They came just out of the cold from Europe. I could see they were Europeans, right? I lived there in Europe. I studied in Europe. So I could see that they were very pale, they had no tan. And they looked at me and they were looking at the car. Is this our car? I drove up and I said, by the way, guys, wait right here at your terminal. The cars usually pull in, and I said, welcome to Los Angeles. And they go, thank you, in a very strong European accent, right? And they said, it is so hot here. right? So I'm just saying, had I picked up those people, I would have got repeat business out of them. Good luck to the next driver that got that crowd, right? But make visitors feel welcome in your city. Show them around, right? Explain to them as you're driving down the highway, hey, by the way, that's a famous hotel over there. That happened, this and this happened there. Blah, blah, blah. Give them the whole spiel, right? The whole shtick, as they say. You will get more business. Now, I move on to the next topic because I have a lot to cover here. Events, my friends. Booyah Kasha, what an ego. You know what? Booyah Kasha, let me tell you something there. I want to address this guy because I did study spiritual psychology. He's in love with his own voice. So this guy is triggered by me, is triggered by my accents. It stirs some emotion in him, right? And how you react to the issue is the issue. So Booyah Kasha, you may want to look at why you made that statement, right? Why you feel that, like, I'm in love with my voice. I'm a happy guy. I project my happiness every day where I go, whether it's my kids, my clients, my family. You'll never change that. So whether you're a troll or a hater, you may want to go onto Wikipedia. I strongly suggest you look up psychological projection. Booyah Kasha, do yourself a favor, 2 words, psychological projection, put it in and read up about it. I think you could learn a lot. So events, right? What do we do with events? In big cities, there's a lot of events going on. You know, you could be in New York, could be Broadway, could be concerts. You know, you have the Foo Fighters or maybe the Rolling Stones in town, or you have an NBA game going on, you have a hockey game going on, you have a football game going on. There's events all around the town, especially in big cities, right? So what do I want to do is I want to know, which goes hand in hand with the next topic, I want to set myself up with a 30-day calendar. I use the Google Calendar, right? So what I do is I take those dates and times, right? Okay, I know at the Staples Center, I know that at the Forum, I know that at the Rose Bowl, at the Pantages, at the Hollywood Bowl, at the Greek Theater, all of these events are going on. I pencil them in. If I don't know the ending time of some of those events, I can call the promoter and I say, by the way, when is this event over? I have to pick up my son or my daughter. They will give you the time because they have the playlist, right? Or we have an average of 4 quarters in an NBA game. We know pretty much when the game should be over. So knowing that 30-day event lineup, if I may call that, right? We can now say, hey, I just dropped someone off at USC. What's close to me? Hey, if I switch off right now, it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock. There's something going on at the Staples Center, only 5 minutes away. It is worth my while, my gas, to switch off the app and go and position myself in an area where there will be super high demand soon. Why? Because there's an event going on. If I happen to be in the South Bay of LA, and I'm giving you an example of Los Angeles, that's where I sign up most of my drivers. Orange County, San Diego, Ventura, that's why I educate and train most of the drivers. If I know that I'm in the South Bay and I'm on my way back, I drop, let's say, some people off in Manhattan Beach and I see, oh, wow, let me just find out what's going on in Inglewood, right? I can just zip off the exit there on, I think it's La Tijera, and I can go and position myself right at the Forum and wait for the next big event to finish up, right? So Import Domestic says when you have a private client, you charge them through the app, right? Well, it's a tricky one. If the private client is my private client through my TCP business and ongoing, I will charge them cash, Venmo, or credit card, right? If it is a person that I got from Uber and I want to set myself up with Uber or Lyft for a repeat trip, I tell them, you know what, you'll have to request me when I'm there. I'll notify you when I'm there. Just tell me when I need to be there. They request, I accept. The problem is with the algorithm, it doesn't always match him or her up to me, the driver. So they may have to do that 2 or 3 times. But I'm not bypassing Uber and Lyft. So in that case, I'm being paid through the app. To clarify, if I have private clients through my TCP, they are being charged by me through Venmo, through cash, or a credit card. Okay. So the next one I have, folks, for those jumping in right now, we're on the 35-minute mark, and we're going over all the points how to succeed in the rideshare business, right? How to get the maximum earnings. We're covering a lot of territory today, and we're currently on the when and where factor. I call them the when and where factor. Anyone starting in this business, right, should have a good idea about their city. Okay. For example, I'm going to use LA. Rideshare 411. Professor, what's up? How's everyone doing today? Great guy. Love the gentleman. Support him. Okay, go and subscribe to his channel. He's putting out good videos. He cares. I can genuinely tell if a person cares about other drivers. There are a few fools in this room right now, a couple of trolls. I've called them out on their shit. They're here to stir it up. That's okay. They'll have a parking bay. They'll have a seat for one show, and after that, they're out, right? But the people that want to learn and want to get some constructive feedback, stay in with us. I think we're sharing a lot of good information. I'm telling you, you will learn a ton of information, for example, from Uber girl Paula, or an up-and-coming guy, Rideshare 411. I welcome you here, because, and I also say to people, go and sign up and support and subscribe to their channels, right? Because we should always be helping each other. Now, the when and where factors, my friends, when I look at a city like Los Angeles, or if you're driving in Chicago, if you're driving in Miami, you know the lay of the land. And that means you know your map, right? I know where the valley is. I know where Ventura is. I know where the South Bay is. I know where the West Side is. I know where West Hollywood is. I know where Pasadena, West Covina is. I know where West LA is. So I got to know pretty much what works best at what time, right? And that's governed by your shifts. I like to start my shift very early, very far outside of the city. I want to be at a high-end hotel very far outside the city. There's some very nice hotels in Pasadena, long trip to LAX, right? Or to Burbank. There are some really, really good hotels, Four Seasons, etc., out in Thousand Oaks, in Calabasas, or in Manhattan Beach, or even further, way out in Palos Verdes. There's some really high-end hotels. If I'm prepared to get there at 5 or 5:30 a.m., right? The famous saying, the early bird catches the worm. That to me is a money trip, right? On an SUV or a Lux car with a 1 hour, 1.5 hour inbound trip, do the math. I'll have to do a lot of UberX trips to make up that same money. So we're learning here how to work smart, not hard. We're here to share information. Professor, what can you do if Uber deactivates you for taking a picture of your own picture? Why, buddy? Why would you do that, right? You know what? Appeal it. Say you had some technical issues. Try and get back in there and don't do that again. You know it's going to backfire. So they have such sophisticated software, facial recognition software, that they will immediately see if you have a duplicate. If it's a picture of, a picture of a picture, don't do it. Learn from it. Don't do it again. Appeal it. I hope you do get your job back. If you are not with Lyft, sign up with Lyft right now. The link's beneath my video. So a little bit more about when and where. You may be doing this part-time. You may be doing this full-time. Obviously, you have a certain amount of hours that you can invest into this Uber and Lyft or TCP business. Don't work yourself into the ground. Don't kill yourself with a 50, 60-hour week. My friends, it's not worth it. Your health will be affected. Your relationships will be affected. And you're not going to have a life, right? Life is not about working around the clock, right? I think life is about incorporating fun, doing things that you enjoy, making sure you keep your relationship going with your wife, your spouse, your girlfriend, keep that intact. The goal here, my friend, is not to work around the clock, right? So set your shifts, set them where you'll get the max return. Obviously, those Friday and Saturday nights are big. Those early mornings are big. And early mornings, you have an advantage if you get up very early because a lot of people like to sleep in. There are less drivers on the road, so you will pick up more trips, right? Know that lunchtime is busy right after, work is busy, beaches are busy during the summer, event times are busy, big hotels are busy. So where am I? At what time in the city? Where can I set up my next trip to get the maximum benefit? So those patterns start emerging. You will quickly see that if you start in a specific area, it may work better for you than starting in another area 10, 15 minutes later. You see patterns that work for you. I have my early morning pattern. I like to be way out in Agura, Westlake, Thousand Oaks, Calabasas, and I get a nice 80, 90% of the time, I get a nice long inbound LAX or Burbank trip, right? So that is a pattern I'm not going to change, right? So you got to identify those patterns. You look at your earnings, you look at the shifts that you drove. Where did I drive, right? Where did I hit the biggest money trips? Now, this is an important one, and there are specific, I would say there's one individual, or maybe he's left, that's good. Your attitude, how you show up at work. Rick reviews, Jerry, carry a bath bag. Good point, dude. Those bath bags have saved my ass many times, I'll tell you that. Your attitude. You know, attitude is all about yourself. Somebody else is going to change your attitude. Outside influences might change your attitude, right? But how I show up every day, being the best person that I can, putting my best foot forward, right? And just being positive, right? I like to shut naysayers or negative or pessimistic people down. In fact, I eliminate them from my life because I will not allow any energy to push me down. I only associate myself with clients, with people that lift my energy level, right? So for example, Torsten, can you touch on cleaning fees? Jerry Hoffman, yes, I'm getting there. There's a point that I get down to when I say create your spa on wheels. I will touch on that, okay? 100%. It's going to be part of this video. But not to go off track, I do want to stick to my points here. Your attitude, you show your A game. I like to have fun. I like to joke around, right? I like to interact with my clients. I like to network with my clients, right? Because I think out of networking, which I have done over all the years with my business cards, with the conversations, I set myself up for bigger and greater things. I do business with a few of my clients, successful people, right, that have the money, that say, hey, Torsten, if you have something for us, we enjoy you, you're reliable, you're a fun guy, you're always on time, you always take good care of our kids. You know, those are good attributes to do business with. So let's do something. And I have, right? So networking, attitude, all I can say leads to far, far greater things. I also do real estate, right? So driving certain clients, high-end clients for a long time, they know I got that license, right? I then get to represent the buying or the selling of their next home. Big money, sometimes over $100,000 commission. Why? Because I built a relationship. I gave them the right attitude. I had fun with them. I always treated them well. I always showed up on time. And it led to way, way bigger things. Never underestimate who you have in the car, right? That's all I can say. Never judge the book by its cover. You know, get to know a person and form a relationship with them. Training. Now, they're like Harry, the rideshare guy that I have the greatest respect for. He has a great training platform, right? He has a great book. Like like if you guys want to do yourself a favor, you go and get his book on Amazon. You know, the Rideshare guy, you know him. He lives here in LA. He's a friend of mine, one of the top rideshare influencers. My mentor, proudly, I can say my mentor, will proudly hand out his book sometimes, right? He has a great training platform. I have a training platform called Rideshare Driving School. You may see it there. 3 different courses: beginner entry level, average level, and then pro level. The code RDS30, RDS30. I am promoting it. I am punting my Rideshare Driving School on www.ridesharedrivingschool.com. It helps you get prepared for day one, trip one. So why spend all that time, all that energy figuring out all this crap by yourself, right? Why spend months and months accumulating bits and pieces of knowledge when you can go in very prepared? So to sign up, I say, to pay those educational dollars for a good university, for a good college, to get a degree, to get a training, it helps you in the job, right? Having a skill set going in there helps you get higher numbers in rideshare. So do spend that money. I don't have to, I'm not saying it has to be with my training platform. You go and look what training platform works best for yourself. I've made a recommendation. The Rideshare guy has a great training platform. And I think I have a great training platform if you really want to crank it up and make money and really look at all the avenues, how to monetize yourself. So not too much there. Your ratings, my friends, many of you have gotten into a situation where sometimes it's just a rolling the dice, bad luck. You have a bad passenger that rates you badly and you dip down. Maybe another bad rating and you dip down even further, right? And then you have to recover. So never underestimate ratings, right? They will keep you in the game, and super high ratings will bring you specific privileges in this rideshare business. And super high ratings, I will guarantee you, if I compare a 4.95 rated guy or girl to a 4.65, I will compare their tips all day long. The 4.95 over 365 days is making a few $1,000s more, period, purely because he's bringing his A game. So ratings are huge. In one of the next topics coming up soon, I'll show you how you can really skyrocket your ratings. And I'm basing that on a lot of feedback from drivers that I've spoken to, where I said, just do this one little thing and it'll increase your ratings. We'll get there right now. Referrals and social media. There's people on the one side, the very important one, because some people don't know enough about referrals. Some people don't want to touch it. Some people are too maybe lazy to start a social media channel or a YouTube channel. And there's a lot of money to be made there, right? Because with Uber and Lyft, you and I, we get a code. We can promote our own code. If you're not promoting your own code, if it's not for you, guess what? That person who is looking for a job will either go directly to uber.com or directly to lyft.com or sign up there, or they will sign up under you because you're bringing them value, because you will help, support, train them, teach them these things. And that's where you get the referral, they get paid, you get paid, right? Or you plain lazy and don't want to do any referrals, guess what? That guy is going to guaranteed, he's going to sign up directly with Uber and Lyft. There's no referral involved. The guy still got his job, and Uber and Lyft don't have to pay out a referral fee. That referral fee adds up to a lot of money. And for anyone that has joined Uber and Lyft and has forgotten to add that referral code, underneath the video, I will show you later exactly what steps that you can take to get paid. If you have questions about this, firstly, in my training, in my ridesharedrivingschool.com, I cover referrals as a whole topic. I teach you my formula, right? And I'm in the top 3 worldwide, US and international, as far as referral goes, period, right? It's because I apply a formula and I give the very, very best training, right? So the guy says, I keep a pack of gallon Ziploc bags in my center console. Smart idea. roadie rideshare guy. Very, very good idea. So let's see. Who else we have here? David Smith in the Raleigh area, per mile is 57 cents. Yeah, I know, it sucks. It's come down. Ed, close to 3 years driving part-time, never used a code. I went right to the apps and signed up. I'm slow. No, it doesn't mean you're slow. It's just like as you're going out there, people don't share this with you. You don't know this information that you can actually get a referral bonus, right? It doesn't mean you're slow. It's just, you just didn't get the chance to stumble upon one of these videos. All I can say is, ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls in this channel, spend that little bit of extra time. I challenge you. I challenge you to set up your own brand, your own name, create your own channel. All it takes is a Gmail. Register something at gmail.com. That becomes your YouTube channel. Upload your first video. You have a phone, right? So what's the excuse, right? Make a video with your phone and say, hey, you know what? This is how I handle the airport. This is how I handle this event. Share the information with the people, because if the people see value in the information that you're sharing in whatever language, right? Wherever you are, whatever city you are in, you know, they see value in your video. All it takes is one person to use your code, and suddenly, you've made anywhere from $10 to, let's say, $700. Just because you put in a couple of minutes work. So everyone in this channel, including Loudmouth Booyakasha, I challenge you, set up your own channel, okay? So I want Booyakasha, and I love that word because it's used by Borat. If anybody's seen Borat, he uses that. It's a cool name, Booyakasha, right? Anyone, hands up who knows Borat, right? But I challenge Booyakasha to send me his link to his new YouTube channel. And if it's a good video, I may subscribe to it. Social media, plentiful, all free. YouTube account, Twitter account, tweet out that video that you just made, create your own Facebook page, your Facebook business page, bring in topics, share the links, Instagram pictures, Pinterest, goes on and on and on. They all have one thing in common. They're all free. They all need an email and a password. Write down those emails and passwords, keep a file, put your social media. You make one video, you can automatically circulate that on YouTube, in your Facebook channel. You can tweet out the video, right? It's not like you have to do the work over and over and over again. No, you blast it out in different directions, your code, okay? And for those who say, you shouldn't be recruiting in my city, if I'm not recruiting, if you're not recruiting, that individual who needs a job, he or she goes directly to Uber and Lyft and they make more money. I would rather see, my argument is, I would rather see that money go into your pocket or my pocket versus Uber or Lyft directly. That's all I'm going to state on that one. So my next one is a topic where this just simply works, right? Create a spa on wheels. Has anyone ever been into a spa for a treatment or a massage or anything like that? The one thing that they use is eucalyptus. There it is, right there. It's a scent, right? It's a very strong scent. It has a very pure, clean, it's natural smell. So all I do, a little hard to get this top off sometimes, but I put 2 droplets. I'm just going to drop 2 down on my table here. See, watch this. There we go. 1, 2. 2 on my carpets, 2 on my vents. I blasted. That entire car smells like a spa, right? And this will last me a few months. Versus this synthetic chemical shit, right? Never, ever spend top dollars on this, right? People are allergic to it. The scent dissipates and vanishes. This here, my friends, is shit, right? Just utter crap. There it is. See it there? Gone. Replace it with eucalyptus. Buy a bottle for $5, $6, $7. 2 drops on your vent, on your carpets, I will guarantee you, mainly females getting, oh my God, your car smells like a spa, your car smells like a spa, your car smells like a spa. Your ratings go up and up, your tips go up and up. It's a psychological thing. Anyone that goes to a spa gets a treatment, feels good, and rewards and tips afterwards. So it's a psychological link up with, hey, I'm in a spa, I need to reward this guy or I need to reward this girl. One of the best videos I've ever made, just on this little bottle. Got me tons of views every single week. I'm not saying every day, but every single week I get comments on this. Thank you for introducing me to this little basic idea, what I termed the spa on wheels. Now, the spa on wheels is obviously an experience on the inside. On the outside, my friends, I have the spray on wax. Fiber cloths is a must. Quick buffer shine. Once a month, I go into a little bit more muscle work because this is the wax, right? Put it on and you have to buff it out. It just brings out the shine, saves the paint. A lot of work compared to this, but this I almost do daily, and this I may do once a month. What else do I do? Or what else do I have in my portfolio of cleaning materials? Anyone that has synthetic leather seats or synthetic dashboards, shine it up. Again, using and have a separate cloth. Don't mix the liquids, right? Because you don't want those liquids to end up on your seat. You have to have separate cloths. So maybe have a green and a yellow one. And you could use this, or if you have leather seats like I have in some of the cars, you use the leather protectant and the shine, right? The real stuff. Meguiar's, the expensive stuff. On the outside, I like the vinegar one from Windex. It's a streak-free. I don't like polishing my windows and having streaks. So this stuff serves me well. And again, I use a different cloth for the windows. Then when I'm done with my little routine, I really don't want to spend more than 5 to 6 minutes on my routine. I've got it down, saved myself. And let's go back to the guys, gentlemen, what should I pay on cleaning fees? I think what you need to save on cleaning fees, rather, is all those valet costs, right? If you have a vacuum cleaner, vacuum your car out once a week, little hand vacuum, and buy yourself these 5 or 6 bottles. Another must is tire wet, right? Just spray it on those tires. Look at that. They're shiny, right? So I showed you the window. I showed you the tires. I showed you the interior cleaner. I showed you the spray wax, and I showed you the turtle wax, the hardcore stuff, right? And if I have to do a quick calculation, I'm looking at 10, 20, 30, $32 for all my cleaning materials, and that should last me quite a while, right? Versus spending top dollars at a valet. I get this done in 5 minutes per vehicle, right? And sometimes, if I don't have the time, or I can drop off a car and get into another car, I'll have the car completely valet detailed inside and out. But it costs money. We hear about talking of ways to increase our bottom line. So increasing our bottom line also starts with a lot of savings. Where can I save? Where can I save money here? Where instead of buying those synthetic scents that cost a lot, those ones that you hang down, those pines, those lemons, cost a lot of money, have zero value. They're synthetic, they agitate the skin, they're chemical, they're rubbish, right? Instead, save a lot of money, get way more mileage with a eucalyptus bottle. Same when it comes to the cleaning supply. So my topic here of create a spa on wheels is show the passenger, the rider, the best exterior and the best interior experience, period. It's worth gold. Okay. Now, as my t-shirt says, hustle. A lot of you are doing this as a full-time hustle, as a part-time hustle. A lot of you have your side hustle or your main job and are doing maybe a few hours of Uber and Lyft there. Whatever works best for you, I'm happy for you. I really am, right? Whatever combination brings you the most money, I'm happy for you. I genuinely am. All I can do is make suggestions, right? I can make suggestions that you can implement as a side hustle. One of the best side hustles that I incorporated into the rideshare business is real estate. I went out and did my real estate license through Allied Real Estate School. And now I can represent buyers and sellers and build those relationships in the car. What do I have in my car? In all my cars, I have home and land magazines, real estate magazines. People love browsing that, looking at the pricing of houses, and then they may take the card and we get into that conversation, right, about homes or condos or Airbnb, whatever. I love that as a side hustle. And it makes a lot of money. So Rideshare 411 says, it's a full-time gig for me. That's cool. You know, if it's a full-time gig, that's great. If you're doing around-the-clock driving, then I'm telling you, on the side in your downtime, do an internet course and get your real estate license. You'll never regret it. Just again, I'll use it as an example. Ask Steve from Laguna, a friend of mine, right, who checks in with me periodically. He implemented all of these basic steps. He's doing real estate. He's meeting clients. So the leasing out of cars, if my vehicle has the title, I own the title of that specific vehicle, for example, I like to use the model of FAIR. I'm sure you've heard of it. FAIR, FAIR. They'll put you in a car. Hey, that's a good one. Sorry, Roadie Rideshare guy. I like vanilla. I get a lot of compliments on it. Okay, I don't know. Were you talking natural vanilla or are you talking the synthetic vanilla? You right? Whatever you enjoy most, scent-wise, whatever you get the best feedback on. Sometimes they use peppermint. People love peppermint. Anything that smells fresh, clean, eucalyptus or peppermint are my go-to essential oils for my car. Whatever works best for you. Contact Obi, great. What's up, Professor? Thank you for being part of my channel, my friend. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for asking. Hope you're having a great day. Westlake Village in the house, Triple Beam Dream, Lavaggio. Love it. Local guy, right around the corner from me. Ed X killed my car. I chased the part-time money and have 158,000 miles on my 14 Kia Optima. I'm kicking that can down the road, but it looks great. I keep it clean, current rating at 4.96 with 5,000 rides. Hat off to Ed, right? Great job, buddy. Leasing out cars, what I do with the smaller vehicles, firstly, if you go to Manheim, M-A-N-H-E-I-M, they are dealer auctioneers around the country. I deal with them. I have a dealer buyer buy my cars. And all of that is based on statistics, on wholesale prices. I am not going to go to a dealer and finance and pay all of that money, top dollars. I am not going to buy a car through Craigslist. I am going to buy my car through a dealer auctioneer and save a lot. If I tell you that I can pick up a Suburban 2015 for $25,000 and the guy around the corner that goes and buys a used one from a dealership is going to pay $10,000 more, right? I've saved myself 10 grand right there. I know how to buy, right? And it's not that, let me correct that statement, it's not that just I know how to buy, I know how to also associate myself with people that are good buyers, right? So when you tell them your requirements, you need a specific XL vehicle, you have a specific budget, get the car at the right price. That's all I'm saying, right? Manheim, check it up, Google it, is a great go-to source. You get great statistics on car. I think you have a lot of fun looking at different cars and seeing what they went at wholesale prices, right? You can buy it there, you can trade cars, but most importantly, you could find the right car that fits your Uber, Lyft, and chartered permit company or limo company and start making money. When I lease out, let's say, a Prius. We just did it the other day, Michael and I will put the driver on the title, right? They will pay, let's say, the $400-500 transfer fees for me to put them on the title, but I will be the lien holder, right? The car will never be in their possession, let's say, unless the car is paid off, or if they want to end up buying the car afterwards at a good price from me. But I will lease that Prius out maybe at like about $400 a month, $100 a week, right? Versus the $180 that you pay at Hertz per week, right? And I will get drivers all day long. The requirement is that they pay for the registration and transfer fees. And this means the car's in their name. They can now upload it into Uber and Lyft. They can start driving it. They pay me weekly for that car. If I'm leasing out an SUV or Lux car for $500, $550, or right up to $650, depending what the car is, there's different ways to structure it. I can set up my fleet program with Uber and Lyft. I can lease out the vehicles. Uber pays me their weekly earnings. I deduct the $550 out of those earnings, and the balance goes to them. That means I'm secured my weekly pay. If I'm dealing with the little cars like the Prius, I can pick them up at the auction for $4,500 to $5,000 at a dealership auction, at a hybrid, right, with fairly high miles, maybe 110,000 miles. But that car right now, I lease it out, by transferring the papers to them. The lien stays in my name, the vehicle stays in my name, and they just make those monthly payments, right? $100 a week, $400 a month. 12 months later, I've got $4,800. In 1 year, I've pretty much almost paid back that car. Obviously, I have deductions in oil, in repairs, etc. But when the 15-month mark rolls around, I am now making a profit. Right? And that's a pretty damn good return of investment, ROI. If I can lease out vehicles to Uber and Lyft, whether it's X vehicles like a Prius, or SUV or luxury vehicles like a Mercedes 550 or a 750 BMW, or a Suburban, or if they want a Cadillac, right? I'm pretty much getting my money back, what I spent at these dealership auctions, in my formula after 15 months, right? So everything after that, I start making big, big profits. The car's paid for. All I then have to concentrate on, hey, bring me the car back for tire rotation, for new tires, for your repairs, for plugs, for oil, synthetic oil. And those are really my expenses. If I'm running the fleet program, I have a big overhead called the insurance, because I have to insure all these vehicles. If I'm deeding out the car to an individual like a Lyft or UberX, like a Prius, and they're paying me that $400 per month, $100 per week, they taking care of their own rideshare insurance, right? They've paid me the registration transfer fees. All my duty is to pay for the repairs and the basics, the oil, etc. I do have 2 good tracking systems in each car. Somebody tries to jump state lines or leave with a car, you have the right to collect the car. It's all governed by a very strict contract. I also use the T-Mobile Sync Up app so I can follow their driving habits. In my contract with them, they cannot exceed the speeding limit by 10%. They cannot do too much erratic driving. If there's too much wear and tear on my car and the guy is just abusing the car, which a lot of people do with rental cars, I cut them off. It's business to me, right? So you can make a lot of money, as I've just showed you, leasing out vehicles like Fair does it. Do it the same way. Been doing it way before Fair, where I'm transferring the title. They've just blown it out into a nice national model. Great company, by the way. And you could be doing real estate. You can fit other jobs into this rideshare puzzle where you will be making additional money. Chinka 01, that's how I do it. I just deal with X vehicles in my market. Awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Merck 305, new driver in Miami. What areas should I go to first when I start my route to generate trips? Hit me up afterwards. I know that city pretty well. I have a couple of vehicles driving in it. All depends on what time of the day or when you are willing to structure your shifts, right? Let's see. Who else is in there? Sonic R. Torsten, for a second time, Uber says my account is no longer eligible for rides. I can, however, do Uber Eats. Do you have any suggestions how I can get my account eligible again for rides? Thank you. So, Sonic R, if you have a 1 or 2 or 3 strikes by a rideshare company, it's more and more difficult to get back in. If you can afford an attorney, it's the best way to go. Have the attorney write their legal department the letter, put your reasoning forward, right, and have them negotiate with the legal team at the rideshare company. You may have a meeting with a DMV manager, try and get something expunged. You may try to take an issue back into court, right, and ask the clerk of the court or the clerk of the court, whatever you want to call it, to get a hearing on that, set a date, and say, hey, rideshare is my livelihood. That's what pays my rent, pays for my kids' education. I request that the judge drops this blemish or mark against me, right? Because they will then update their background check. And if that's off your record, you may get a second chance to get back in. But if you've had a first, a second, and a third strike on issues like harassment or specific things that passengers have complained about you over and over again, I can tell you right now, it's super, super hard to get in. I'm not here to really give you too much advice on deactivation. If you've been deactivated, that type of topic, hit me up afterwards with an email or a text, not here. We're talking of ways to succeed, to improve your life. Of course, if you can get over in deactivation, you're back in the game and you're earning money. It's not that easy, folks, but there are ways. Yeah, Chinka01, T-Mobile, exactly. Paula, you may want to reach out to Booyah Kashai. He's desperately, desperately pleading for your help in the channel. Ed, on highway, it's 60 miles per hour, so he's only allowed to go 66 tops. No, good question. I mean, 70 tops, but I'm saying, when you see patterns emerge, like he's going 85 or 90, that's it, right? Because it's going to cause an accident. You're going to have a liability. You're going to have issues with your LLC or your company, right? You want to have a guy or a girl that generally sticks to the speed limit, Ed, right? I forgot it because my rating is 4.54. Sonic R, very upfront, that's who I am. That's a very, very bad rating. You better get it up right away. The one thing that you can do is hopefully you're on Uber and Lyft and you keep your car clean, no smoke in the inside. Get that eucalyptus oil for about $6-7. Make your car smell like a spa. Get those ratings up. Put in your A game. There's a reason only you can address why you had a 4.54. And we're not outing you here. You've shared it with us. That's your rating. I appreciate you for being honest about your rating. I'm just giving you ways and means how you can bump that 4.54 up to a 4.9, right? Do yourself a favor. Use my code RDS30 on ridesharedrivingschool.com and really learn the ways how to bump up your ratings. I cover it extensively, right? If you did get kicked out on Uber, I ask you to sign up for Lyft today, right? So let's see, what else do we have here? Contact Toby Great says, XL8 gas like crazy. The way I drive is not the best for me. Okay. XL, yeah, I mean, they all use 26 miles per gallon. You'll get 45, 50 on a Prius, right? But where you have to do the math is on your tips, right? You may be spending double the amount on an XL versus an X on gasoline per week, but your tips will be 3-4 times higher. So when you put your gas costs in relationship to your X and XL tips that are coming in, it's a no-brainer. Rideshare 411 XL is the best driving choice at the moment. I agree with you, because you're getting the best bang for your buck. You're getting the best car, and they're good cars. Very often those Japanese cars are great. The Honda Odyssey, Toyota Sienna, or the, help me out here, the Chrysler Town and Country, great cars, right? And you are getting the best bang for your buck there, right? So I challenge Rideshare 411 to make a good video on Excel. Send me the link, buddy. Let's see. Let's just see. Who else has a question? Okay, so to recap, folks, we're at the 1 hour 15 mark. For anyone joining, the car and the category, we're going to go run through these steps one more time super fast, are important. If you can stretch your budget a little bit and get an XL vehicle over an X, I suggest you get an XL vehicle. Spend that $1,500 or $2,000 more. Get a larger vehicle that can take more than 4 passengers, because it equates into tips, right? Make sure you're on both Uber and Lyft platforms, not just on the one. There is no excuse. Sign up for both. The links are underneath this video. Sign up with a code. You can contact me. You can ask the questions. We can do the training, the help, but you need to be on 2 platforms. Thirdly, make sure that you add a transportation charter permit, whatever it's called in your state. Spend that additional $800. It takes about 2 months. Now you can conduct private trips. 100% of those fares go into your pocket. For example, in the early morning, you did a $100 trip, right? Had I done that same trip with Uber, I would have probably only ended up with $55 to $60. In this case, because I have the TCP, and it is a private client that I marketed in my area, or I got as a referral, that 100%, that $100 goes into my back pocket. The next topic that I covered, folks, was tips after trips. There are certain things that you can do. Carry the luggage, help them unload at the hotel, at the airport, go that extra mile, keep the car clean, inside, outside, fresh. Have your car like a spa on wheels. Put your A game, your friendliness, good conversations. Be like a tour guide for tourists. Just help out wherever you can. It will result in tips. Business cards, I spoke about that briefly. I have my card that has my face, my car on the back, so they remember who in what car. The details on there will also be my phone number, my email. I don't encourage girls or ladies to put their phone number on there. Your code, and obviously your name, so they know who you are. I also carry around with me all the business cards of the people that I associate or that I affiliate myself with. If I vouch for them, I hand out their business cards and I get referral commissions, right? Whether, for example, this guy is a great buyer at auctions. He's a dealer auctioneer. He buys at the auctions. He buys cars for me. He buys cars for friends. He buys cars for recommendations. I do get a 10% commission back on that. So I have multiple cards with me, my own cards and cards of the people that I'll vouch for. Repeat business, you can definitely get a lot of repeat business through Uber and Lyft. Schedule those trips with them. You arrive, they request, or you have your own TCP, your private trips. Obviously, they'll send you an email and say, hey, Torsten or Uber girl, Paula, whoever it is, I need a car in 2 weeks' time. I'm taking my family to LAX. Get a repeat client going. Hotels, know your city inside out, right? We're recapping quickly. If you really want the long version, start from the beginning of the video, go back. I've gone through every detail in super detail, but this is a quick recap. Hotels, know where they are. High-end hotels, I know where all the high-end hotels are in Beverly Hills, for example, Montage, the Wilshire Hotel, the Bel Air Hotel. Hotels often go with the category that you're in, with a car, right? So medium range, low budget hotels. So when I drop someone off, I use the example in Santa Monica. I'm on 11th Street. I switch off briefly. I go down to Ocean Drive, 11th Streets, and I'm right there in the midst of multiple hotels, and will probably get a nice long airport trip. So knowing the hotels and positioning yourself around hotels is money. Tourists, very easy to detect them. pick them up at airports. They have an accent. You ask them where they're from, how long they're in the city. Get repeat business out of them. On the way, as you're driving, point out things. Hey, by the way, that's a famous landmark, or this is a famous stadium where our Clippers or where our Los Angeles Lakers play, blah, blah, blah. Be a tour guide. You're selling yourself, you're going to get a tip, you're going to get repeat business, right? Events, know all your events, sports events, music events, Broadway events, concert events. There's so many. LA, I can just name a few. Staples, Forum, Rose Bowl, Palladium, Contagious, Greek Theater, Hollywood Bowl, you name it, right? There's always action going on. I go onto StubHub, I create the next one, my 30-day calendar. I know what's going on in the month of April. I know what's going on in the month of May, right? Usually do 2 months ahead. The next one, the when and where factors, very much depends on your shifts, when you can drive part-time or full-time. Rick reviews Kasha. Maybe he doesn't want to give legal advice, or maybe he thinks you're obnoxious. The answer to that, Rick reviews, is both. The guy is blatantly obnoxious. He's a little troll. He doesn't deserve our attention. And secondly, you never get legal advice, because if you give legal advice over the internet, it'll come back and bite you. They will say, well, he or she said that. I'll give you a recommendation to anyone, right? I do know a lot about the legal field, having done the paralegal license, right? But I'm not going to hand out legal advice to anyone, especially not to this guy, right? So he can bark and chirp and whistle as much as he wants in this channel. He already got the attention that he deserved. I told him to look up psychological projection, what that means, the true meaning of it, on WikiLeaks. He could learn a lot from that, but we don't feed trolls energy, right? We're here to better their lives, to talk about how to succeed, right? I, and hopefully you, love surrounding yourself by positive, uplifting, optimistic people. Those are the people that drive us further. I don't have to say more. Attitude, fun, network, the attitude, the energy that you bring to the day every 24 hours determines how good you are at anything, right? Do people like you? Do people recommend you? Do people refer you? They do, if your attitude is great. If your attitude is great, you get more possibilities to network. Networking always means, who's in my car? Who could I build a relationship with? What are the possibilities? Because I formed this new relationship, right? So the opportunities are endless if you show up with the right attitude. If you have fun at your job, you enjoy doing it. If you don't enjoy your job, don't do it. Switch it. If you're hating rideshare at this moment, stop it. Go and do something else. Maybe go and work for Amazon Flex, deliver packages, or go to Postmates, deliver food. Don't do what, if you're hating it, stop right now, switch, right? You should enjoy it, right? I enjoy being with people because it's just way more than people. I see it as relationships, networking, opportunities, right? So training, I gave a tip. The rideshare guy, Harry, has a great book. Buy it, spend that, I think $10 or $12. Sign up for rideshare training. I have a platform called ridesharedrivingschool.com. Sign up there and learn the ins and outs. So before you take trip one on day one, you're prepared. Don't go out there and you have to spend all this time, couple of months, accumulating knowledge, not making the real money that you could already be making because you have training. Okay, and when I say training, it applies for anything in life. You go out there at a college or a university, get the degree or get additional training, you always have more qualifications. You was always up your game money-wise, right? Period. Ratings matter. We had a gentleman in the house with a 4-point. Dustin is in the house. We welcome him. How are you? Trolls make me laugh. Us YouTubers deal with them all the time. I just starve them and smile. Fuck, I love that. That is good. I starve them. So he takes away their food and their drinks and they whine, they whimper, they cry. Good. I'm going to use that. I'm going to starve them. Dustin, with your permission, I'm going to starve the trolls, right? They're in the house. You can never, there's always that one little black sheep, right, who wants to stand out. Woo, listen to me. I'm going to hit you 20 times in this channel, right? Same thing. Desperate, desperate, desperate for attention. Don't give them the energy. They don't deserve it. They need to work on themselves. They need to find out what triggers them, what's going on in their own life, and work on themselves. You will never, ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, you will never change a person. They will only change themselves if they go out and get the self-help. So Dustin's right. Starve. You starve them. Don't give them the energy. We don't mention them. Once in a while, we can play around with them and have a little bit of fun for audience sake, for subscribers' sake. It is fun. It's sometimes fun to make fun of trolls, right? And just hold up the mirror, show them who they are. Anyway, so yeah, man, Smakovich, look, I think you should create the Smakovich, Dustin, manufacture it, I don't know, maybe in Hong Kong, a nice bright one that he has. Everybody knows him for the Smakovich, right? That big hand that he uses when he issues the Smakovich, that's his trademark, right? That's him, right? He branded that and it's helped his marketing, right? But I want him to sell the Smakovich, right? With the Dustin's Smakovich. You can buy it on Amazon for $8, right? I'd buy one. I'd just, for the frickin' laugh of it, right? It's a great brand. He's a smart guy. He's an awesome personality. Subscribe to him. If you haven't subscribed to him and haven't seen his video, do yourself a huge favor. Go and subscribe to him. We're a family. We're helping each other. We're helping getting the word out on security, safety. All of these people are putting in the hours, the efforts to help you. Obviously, we cannot deny, hopefully once in a while we get a referral out of it. We make a little money from YouTube. It all adds up. But we're passionate about it. We enjoy doing it. I know he does. I know that Rideshare 411 is putting his best foot forward. I know that a lot of people see. I just sold your first Smakovich, Dustin. It says there's 78 Miss Red Rum. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Said, I will buy a Smakovich. I would too. You've got 2 clients already, buddy. Just made yourself $20. So find a manufacturer. If you need some good manufacturers in Hong Kong, Dustin, I'll hook you up with a few. But this guy needs to brand the Uber and Lyft Smakovich, you know. Okay, so Booyah Kasha, I'll listen to you one more time. You said you weren't trolling. You asked a legit question. I didn't see a legit question from you. I'm asking you, if you're asking for legal advice, you're not going to get it, right? If you're here to shoot shit, you're in the wrong place. We're not going to highlight you. But if you have a legitimate question, I beg you, ask it now. I will answer it, right? Better get that manufacturer referral. George and Patterson, I love it. I love your business brand. Terry Tips in the house. Smile up. We're happy today. Hey, if anybody knows Terry Tips, he always has a smile on his face. So if you haven't been to his channel, go subscribe to him now. Great guy, bringing great value to the rideshare community, right? And it's wonderful for our brothers and sisters here to connect and reconnect and share and try to just improve lives, right? It's great. I like it because that's how I stay connected. I see it as a big extended family. Sonic R, thumbs up to you as well. I hope it works out for you, buddy. And wherever I can help after this conversation, I will gladly. We're having a little bit of private dialogues now. David Smith, will Lyft ever implement a long pickup fee for passengers? You know, if we push the issue enough, if you make videos about it, if you write to them, you know, you got to push a topic enough times until you get there. So, okay. Booyah Kasha, remember I said you can ask a legitimate question, and then he goes, LOL, referrals are being stolen by Uber. Okay. That's not a question. That's a statement that you're making out in the universe. What are you backing it up with? Screenshots, evidence. You know, that's the type of shit you have to show in court if you want to convince a judge. Evidence, my friends. So I lost a 701 last night. What do you mean by that? A 700 what? Explain, Dustin. We'd love to hear. Jordan Patterson Torsten, what is your stance on Uber hiding and stealing surge pricing? Look, it's BS, right? What is my stance on it's BS, and we call them out on it, right? I think Geo made a really good video. Rideshare Revolution made a really good, convincing video about it the other day. I think his title was, "This is criminal." And he's right. It is criminal. What they were doing there is criminal, and we need to hold up the mirror and expose them, right? We got to, listen, folks, we got to call them out on their shit when they try these shenanigans, right? When they try shenanigans, we publish the shenanigans, right? That's why you have the opportunity to voice, to vent in these channels. They read the stuff, right? But we got to drive the message home in videos that we will not stand for that type of bullying, that type of behavior by corporate companies, right? The other day, we were down there for several hours during the Los Angeles strike. We were heard loud and clear, right? We pushed many, many good, valuable points. We should have pushed that one as well. But this one came post the strike. So this issue that you're talking about, hiding that, came after the strike. But again, collective energies, put it out there, hold up the mirror. Hey, stop doing this. Let's see. Yeah, that sucks and is unfair. 100% correct, Chinko01. Dustin says, yeah, it completed the referral. Then it just disappears. Didn't get credit and they didn't cancel it out. So Dustin, my recommendation on referrals, and there are many, many referrals where they try and pull a fast one and not pay you out, is always escalate it to management, open ticket after ticket after ticket, right? Until you get to the right guy or girl that's willing to help you, right? I fight for every dollar, right? I will not let a corporate company cheat me out of a good referral. I will not let a corporate company cheat me out of money, right? There's money I worked for. It's money I deserved. It's money that should be in my bank account, not theirs, right? So I fight for it. Los Angeles Unstoppable Baba, can you say SEC? Yeah, SEC. I can say it. John P., I'm about to sign up with Uber. I have the approval. I'm a bit apprehensive as Uber is getting so much bad press on payouts all over YouTube and online. Can you touch on this? Well, you can email me or text me at the number 480-393-6381. Here it is. I'm going to write it for you. And I will more than gladly explain a lot there, right? 393-6318. You have the permission to text me at that number, as does everybody else, right? But in between all the negative news, if you work smart, if you're in the right category and you're in a good city that's busy, you're making money, right? Because you should be on Uber, Lyft, and maybe on that third TCP chartered permit platform, you're making money, right? So if you want to give me a call afterwards and have me elaborate on that, if you want a one-on-one conversation before you join, let's get your questions answered. I'd love to have your referral. My codes are underneath this video, and I will work for my referral. I will help train, answer questions as you move along. Take your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th trip. If questions arise, you reach out to me, you text me and say, hey, what do I do here? What do I do there, right? Start off on the right foot. You're welcome, John P. Philadelphia. I send my regards. James Campbell, keep in mind, as rideshare drivers, we are legally required to report all suspicions of our services being used in the sex trafficking industry. Correct, right? So if you overhear a conversation, especially if it's harming a child, if I see anything like that, number one, doing towards kids, I report it. I had to report a non-Uber driver the other day for running several red lights. I think he was on heroin or on drugs, hit a car, took off. You know, There was an accident or possible death waiting to happen. I called 911. They chased the guy down, and he couldn't even get out of the car. He fell out the car, right? So you do have a duty, I think, to keep your brothers and sisters safe. You definitely have a duty to keep kids safe or animals safe. They cannot defend themselves, right? If you see abuse towards a child, abuse towards an animal, abuse towards elderly, it is your duty to report it. I've done it several times. I have literally, ladies and gentlemen, in San Bernardino at a gas station, a guy threw his 3-year-old and beat it in the backseat. I knocked him out cold, lying on the floor, put my foot on his chest, called 911. They played the video back. They arrested the guy. One clean, nice, good right uppercut, right? Because the guy was beating up a 3-year-old little child. These are the type of incidences you have to report. I took it a step further. I knocked the guy out. Anyway, Professor, what do you recommend a Lyft when there's a little prime time to get long distance rides on base rate? What area would that require you to station in to get those long rides? I'm trying to decipher that question. There's a lot of questions within a question. Can you please send me that question to my number and elaborate a little bit more on that so I can get back to you on that? Yeah, Rideshare 411, go and make money. You don't have to sit around here forever. We're just having a good conversation with good people. James Campbell, my issue has been with people on borrowed accounts trying to run drugs. I've also reported abusive domestic behavior with couples. That's good. With the drug issues, my friend, you want to be super, super careful. You want to be super careful. Sometimes you don't want to F around with gang members. You might have them in the car. It's not necessarily always the best choice to mess around or report one of those guys. That could backfire horribly because they do have a lot of data on you, or they can get a lot of data, right? They usually know people on the inside. So I've had my run-ins with them. I know how to handle them, or I think I know how to handle them. I had one incident with a couple of gang members, and it happened to be World Cup, and I started talking soccer. Like, which country are you supporting at the World Cup? They said, we supporting ABC country, not going to mention it. And then I said, oh, cool, I like this one player, because I knew the players on the team. And then we're already homies in a conversation. Felt like I was one of them. I wasn't one of them, but I was one of them, and it got me out of a lot of trouble. So street smarts go a long way, my friend. I think you have a third sale, Dustin, a Smakovich just sold. Get it online. I want to see Dustin launch the Smakovich. Booyah Kasha, thank you, Professor. Booyah Kasha, thank you for being part of the conversation. I do want to help you if you have a question. I really do, right? If you have a good question. Have a great day. 411, you too, buddy. James Campbell, you got that right. Thank you, my friend. So I'm going to wrap it up, folks. Got a long day ahead. I wish you an amazing day. Can we have a lot of thumbs up emojis for everyone in the house that's shared good stuff? I'm doing some homework on psychological projection. You're funny. Yeah, good. Read up about it. It's an interesting thing. I studied spiritual psychology. I have a master's degree in that, and I have a master's degree in business economics, specializing in e-commerce. I do love, and I'm fascinated how the human mind works. I do believe in self-improvement, but I can tell you something, only you can work on yourself. I cannot fix you, right? Your wife cannot fix you. You have to show up and do the work. You have to show up and go back in time and face those demons or traumas and work through them, right? You have to do a lot of forgiveness. You have to do a lot of self-work. There's good people out there. If you want any recommendations on really good CDs while you're driving, if you feel like you're holding on to some toxic energy, if you're holding on to a hot potato that's burning you and you really need to let it go, you want to be freed from that pain or so, there's great stuff. There's great literature that I can send you. I know a lot about the topic. I've been through a lot myself. I've been in the army. I've seen things. And you know what? Nobody is perfect. And a lot of people suffer from PTSD. But believe me, when I tell you there's light at the end of the channel, and things change big time when you change your attitude, right? And how you treat people, how you expect to be treated, right? You can do big things when you let go of that hot potato. You let go of that trauma. You let go of those past demons, and you want to change. You want to become a better person. There's great literature. There's great CDs for the road. Hit me up, right? I'm not judging you. I judge no one, right? I'm colorblind. I'm religion blind, and there's zero judgment, right? In fact, I had a long conversation with a guy yesterday. I gave him $100, and he showed me at a criminal record. He shot a guy back in South Carolina, and we ended up having a long, good conversation. I'm not judging him. I sort of understood afterwards why he shot the guy, but you know, I gave him a big hug, wished him well. He shed some tears, and I gave him $100 so he could get back to South Carolina because he was stuck in Cali, right? So if you can help your brothers and sisters, if you have the money, the means to donate, to reach out, to better someone else's life, to better a human's life, to better an animal's life, do it, right? If you have that surplus money, do it. Don't hold on to it. It's just going to gather more. You're just going to get more and more money, right? Be charitable. Be good. Do something good. Ed's in the house. Thank you. Keto Lady, Baltimore, got a lot of thumbs up. We got some safe signs. We've got some Hawaiian signs. We've got thumbs up. Love you guys. I'm checking out. My day is starting. I had an awesome 1 hour, 41-minute session here. Loved it. A lot of good stuff. He got a pre-ordered Smakovich from Dustin. That's it. I've ordered one, and 2 or 3 other people have ordered the Smakovich. Now we need Dustin to ship them out. Dustin, get them manufactured. We want to see the Dustin, Uber, and Lyft Smakovich on Amazon, folks. Selling price, I don't know. Dustin's going to determine. Maybe it's going to be $8, $10, $15. I'm in for a Smakovich as long as you can keep it up under $15. I'll support my rideshare friend all day long because he does so much for other people. I think that's awesome. I think it's great. Yes, don't build walls, build a bridge. My friend, you have left us with the most positive note. Keto Lady, Baltimore. Thank you, Baltimore, for saying that. Building bridges, my friends, gets you way further than building barriers and walls. That's all I'm going to say, right? And you can interpret into that as much as you want, right? I am with this lady 100% on that comment. And I think that's the high that we're going to leave this conversation with. It's about bridges, not barriers, not walls, right? It's so much better to build bridges and help individuals than create barriers between you and I, where we can't talk, where we can't see each other. Peace out. Love you guys. Thumbs up. Have a fantastic, awesome day, my friends.